Okay, so we say people, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today guys, like always, another weekly analysis for you. On the screen other pairs will be analyzed today, but make sure you do stay to the end of the video because I do have a bonus pair in store. But yeah guys, no trades again for me this week. There was a trade set up on Euro USD, a valid trade, but I did opt not to take it. Based on my discretion, the entry was just too large for me to take the trade. I was eyeing up Euro USD longs for most of the week. It was on my watch list. I was talking about it a few times on the live streams. Make sure you're there to see frequent updates in the market. But I was looking to long Euro USD on the retest of this zone here. So we had a lovely level of resistance. I was looking for price to go and break through that, retest it, and then long. And we did see that retest happen pretty quickly. We had some news on Wednesday or Thursday, and we had this massive bullish engulfing candle. And it wasn't ideal for entry, as if I did take the trade up here, I'll be taking the trade coming back into resistance, whereas if the bullish engulfing was a little bit smaller, I could take the trade and monitor my position coming back into the highs there. The reaction was just very big. The news caused a lot of weakness in the dollar. I think we had some euro news as well. I'm not too sure if the euro news caused strength. I think it might cause weakness, or potentially both. But yeah, we did see a big strong move up, and the entry signal was a little bit too large for me to take the trade, so I did opt not to take it. But we did see a successful retest for Euro USD, so I'm still looking for longs. And since Euro USD is our first pair, we'll get right into it. But I am still definitely looking for longs for Euro USD, and in actual fact, I'll be looking to see if we can come back and retest the zone again and again, looking for the same thing, retest, bullish engulfing candle, and looking to take my entries there. Because if you do zoom out onto the higher time frames, particularly the daily chart, I'm looking at this bullish structure here: low, high, market come back, respect to the low, and potentially we could be on our way to create the next high, or at least retest the prior high there at 1.112. So that is the plan for Euro USD, expecting upside. If you drop to the 4H time frame again, you can see we have broken through this bearish structure, which once was, now is not, and now we printed a high, a low, and now a higher high. So again, looking for the next higher low for continuation back into the daily swing high there. So that's the plan for Euro USD. Pretty straightforward. I'm liking the market structure. This is kind of what I was calling for coming into the week. Now we've seen a really confident breakout, so let's see if we can get the retest of that area and more upside back to the highs over there. If I touch on DXY quickly, I'm looking at a very similar move, of course, in the opposite direction. If I expand to the weekly chart very quickly, you can see we've had a very significant reaction coming into this high here at 104,500. Really strong reaction there, strong shift of momentum. So I'm expecting this momentum just to continue to spill over back down into this key level of support around 101,250. So for the next kind of 1, 2, or 3 weeks, depending on how long it takes us to get there, I do expect a lot more weakness for the dollar. So if you do take that into the lower time frames, like the 4H, we're simply looking for pullbacks and continuations. And there's two areas I'm kind of looking at, this area being one of them. Really strong support just above us where we're trading right now. We could see a kind of a slower minor retracement, retest this kind of area around 103 and then be on our way. Or we might see a deeper pullback. Of course, this will be up to DXY come next week. We might see a deeper pullback to retest this area here around 103,600. Really nice level of support, broke through with great momentum, no retest of that area. So we could still see a deeper pullback onto that area, but of course, this area here could be the one to send us over. But in terms of probability, there's a very strong likeliness we will see more dollar for the next kind of 1 or 2 weeks, maybe even longer. And now I'm just looking for pullbacks, and 103, 103,600 are prime areas for that. So taking that understanding into Euro USD, and we'll touch on some other dollar pairs throughout the video. For Euro USD, we'll be looking for a retest of this area, 108,830. And then yeah, longs back to the swing high around 1.110. So very bullish on Euro USD, really confident breakout. We've taken out some key highs here as well, which is absolutely amazing. Now I'm looking at pullbacks and some entries. So hopefully I can get another entry signal this week to participate in some longs for Euro, and I will be looking to target the highs up there. So let's see if we can get some pullbacks next week for Euro longs. Okay, so on to dollar yen. So dollar yen, I am still bullish on this market. We are still seeing bullish market structure, higher highs and higher lows. And for people who are not who are new to my analysis, I focus a lot on structural highs and lows, and that's kind of where I get my buys from. So we're still pushing to the upside in terms of the structure. We haven't taken out any significant structure on the higher time frames for H daily, so I'm still bullish from that perspective. However, I can still look for counter opportunities, and specifically with this momentum we're seeing now, we're seeing really strong selling pressure coming to the market. It looks like we're kind of falling off a cliff. We had a lot of consolidation here, and I was actually just anticipating the market to break to the upside this week and then catch the retest on the upside of it, and then look for longs to continue that momentum. We never had that. Price just kind of slowly just fell off very aggressively eventually, and fell to the downside pretty hard there. So now for next week, especially with the dollar, the bearish dollar sentiment I'm looking at trading next week as well, I do think we can see some upside, some retracement, and again some more follow through. Now we have to take out this low here for me to say, okay, I'm really expecting the bearish trend to continue a lot further. This potentially could still just be a very exaggerated pullback. We could still see some upside, market reacts to some areas, maybe double bottom, and then we're on our way again. So that is still a big possibility, which is why I'm still viewing this as counter trend, since no major low has been taken out. But besides from that, counter trend opportunities are still worthwhile, especially when you trade them correctly. And we've got some really nice areas here. Previous resistance, could see that act again in somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern, which could lead to a major reversal. We could also be looking at a retest of this area here, which I was kind of midweek after we had this big first kind of spill to the downside. This is a nice level of support, which come back, retest the resistance, and again see a move to the downside. So I'm keeping my eyes on both of those areas next week. It just depends how price moves, how far it retraces, the entry signals I get, depending on which level I would enter from. But I would be looking at both of them. I think dollar yen is looking pretty attractive for some sells. Yen pairs in general have seen some heavy bearish momentum. It does look maybe that the yen pairs could be making a top potentially, but I'll still view these as counter trend until I see those major structural lows be taken out. But in terms of areas to sell from, 148.670 and also 149.250 look good. We can probably target the low here, which is the price swing low, which gave us this big move to the upside. So sensible target there too. So that's kind of the plan I have for dollar yen going into next week. Okay, so on to dollar CAD, which is another dollar pair. And again, as I said, dollar I'm expecting more weakness for. So pairs like dollar CAD, I'm expecting a lot more downside to come in the following weeks. So if I expand to the daily time frame, you can see my overall bias for the pair. I'm looking for this move as the big impulse. This is the correction of that impulse. Now I'm looking at a continuation back to the downside into the lows here. So that's the plan I have for dollar CAD. I did say last week I was expecting a little bit more upside back to 1.365 to go retest this significant level here. Didn't quite make it, but again, we don't necessarily need to hit that level before we do see some downside. It would be nice, but looks like the market is running out of juice already. We did see a quite nice aggressive sell to the downside away from that consolidation. So shorts on the retest of that area do look good for, again, some more downside. If you want to be a bit more safe with dollar CAD because the conditions aren't that great, you can wait to see if the market kind of clears this area, because again, this is still the higher low in the market with a higher high, higher low, new higher high. If the market can really rip through that area, this will leave behind a nice place to short from on a retest, and then you can base some entries from that. The conditions aren't really the best with dollar CAD. It is kind of a large consolidating market on the higher time frame, so I'm kind of seeing consolidation on the lower as well. This isn't particularly great, so it's not my favorite dollar pair to trade. Euro USD, dollar yen look a lot better. I'll share my full watch list going into next week on my Telegram, so make sure you do check that out, link in the description. But I do have a bearish bias, and if I'm looking to trade it, which I'm not too sure I will, there are a few better pairs than dollar CAD. But this is how I would look to tackle that, looking for market either to really break that structure and then wait for the retest, or slightly more aggressive entry, because again, we could still potentially push up, form a higher high, and actually test the area I was talking about. So slightly more aggressive trade, but still worthwhile. And again, the risk reward will be a lot more rewarding from this area here, around 1.354. So that's the plan for dollar CAD, and I would be looking to swing that back down to the prior low here, around 1.32. So that's the plan next week for dollar CAD. Okay, so onto Euro Pound. So still, I'm not a big fan of this pair. It's still trading at a very, very big level of support. We've seen a lot of rejection previously, as we can see over there, as we can see over there, and somewhat over there as well. And we're still coming to that area now. With Euro Pound, the overall kind of direction for a while has been kind of sideways. There has been a slight bearish trend, but not very established. And in fact, if you kind of look at the market like that, it's just sideways. So there is no real trend in the market, or at least a clear one. You could probably argue that we've had this kind of move there, but again, nothing clear, nothing that I would be excited to trade. So with Euro Pound, you could be looking to take buys coming back into the low here. Fairly aggressive, not really the way that I look to trade. I'm looking for trending market structure. I'm looking for direction. I'm looking to follow that direction for as long as I can. And Euro Pound, there isn't really one. However, when we do have these conditions in the market, you kind of want to buy low and sell high and anticipate these kind of reversions in the market. Not the way I trade, but could provide some nice opportunities if you play your cards right. And as long as the probability is in your favor, we lose some, win some, risk reward will take care of us. But this is definitely not a position that I would look to take, so I want to make that clear. But looking to buy from this area upon some confirmation can make a lot of sense. And if we're successful and we reject that area, you know, there's a long way we could go. If we're going to reject the area like we did previously, we could see a lot of upside there. So the reward is definitely plentiful if we do see a strong rejection, or at the same time we could, you know, open up and see by Monday morning London session the market's bleeding through that area as well. So the market could be looking to break through. You can see a very, very strong bearish candle there on Friday, so it would be nice to kind of see that momentum kind of slow down. A few wicks at that area show that the market's really struggling to break through, because it's a very, very big bearish candle, a lot of weakness at this moment in time, and I wouldn't be too surprised if the market is actually just going to break lower and continue, which will be good, because if we do that, then maybe we can actually start to see a more established bearish trend form, and then again pullbacks and shorts will make a lot more sense in the following weeks. But for now, still obeying that level of support, could see a nice bounce to the upside. Like I said, wait for a lot of rejection, wait for clear signs that the market is struggling to break through, because there's a lot of momentum, there's a lot of bearish momentum at the moment. And if you do see that, could be some nice buys early in the week to take this high. So keep an eye out for some Euro Pound longs at around the 0.8499 area. Okay, so on to Aussie dollar. So this is probably my favorite pair, along with Euro USD going into next week. I really do like what I'm seeing with both of those pairs. Aussie dollar's looking very good. I've been talking about this big level of support, saying that I don't really want to sell at these prices because it's such a big level, and we haven't really seen that kind of really strong shift of momentum to say that, okay, the market is holding the level and we're likely to reverse. We rejected it a few times, but again, I'm waiting for some bullish structure to come into play before I can buy, which is what I was talking about on the weekly analysis last week. I said if you can see some established market structure, some higher highs and higher lows, which now the market has given me with this structure here, low, high. Now I can look for pullbacks and look to take that to the upside, because if the market is going to really reject this area and see a big rebound from it, we could be looking at playing this big kind of inverse head and shoulder pattern, with this being the left shoulder, over there head, and then potential right shoulder, and we could be seeing a massive move back to this area, to that swing high around 0.685. So there's a long way to go for Aussie dollar potentially. So there is a lot of room, a lot of reward on the table. The risk reward could be looking very, very attractive if I do get the entry I'm looking for, which will be on a retest of this area here. So 0.659, if I can get a retest at that level, I would be loving that. Looking for my entry signals, and again, looking to take it to the upside. Targets will be up to you. I'll be looking to stretch the trade as far as possible, trading stops as far as I can go. But in terms of from a swing perspective, I will be looking for a move to 0.686. So that's the plan next week for Aussie dollar. I really like it because we've broken through this bearish structure. Now we did have the original break structure here. I wasn't quite convinced because we were quite correct on the way down. We're lacking that kind of momentum, that impulsive behavior. Now we've got it, really strong move to the upside, really telling us that this level is holding. So now pullbacks look very, very attractive, and continuations make a lot of sense. So this is the plan I have for Aussie dollar, very similar with Euro USD. Again, still fitting into the idea of that dollar weakness for the next couple of weeks, potentially. So that is what I'll be looking at for Aussie dollar going into next week. Okay, so over to NZD CAD. So I wasn't really a fan of this pair. I was a fan a couple of weeks ago when we had this big move up. I was looking for retracement or retest of this area for some upsides. So that was the idea, and we kind of have seen that price action follow through, the impulse correction impulse, or somewhat of an impulse. It is quite a corrective there, but essentially I was looking for the higher low for push to the upside to come back and retest the highs here, since we did see a very significant reaction at this area, which was then holding as support. So again, I was looking at a higher low forming, had a big double bottom here, higher low, looking for price to again reach those highs there, potentially break through them as well. So that was the plan a couple of weeks ago for NZD CAD, but I didn't really get the entry signal I was looking for, the retest of this area I was looking for, so I did stay out the market. Just hit the mic there, apologies, but yeah, I didn't get the entry I was looking for. Since then, we did see a lot of consolidation throughout the week, and then now we have seen some momentum, a little bit corrective, hasn't really seen a nice retest. I did say coming into the week, if we do see a strong break, come back to retest this area, that would be a nice place to look for some entries. Didn't quite see that happen. We broke through, retest some minor structure in the low time frames, and we have been looking pretty bullish since then. So if NZD CAD can be kind enough to come back and retest the area, which is again this high here, turn support, that's kind of what I would be looking for to take some entries, you know, retest the consolidation whilst we're at it as well. That's kind of going to be acting as a nice zone where buyers will be sitting, and then we can expect price to continue back to the highs and the daily level up there 0.83 as well. But in terms of direction, NZD CAD, I am looking for more upside here. I was looking for buyers in the retest of this area either last week or the week before. Didn't quite map out how I wanted to, but potentially if you can see a retest, it could be a much cleaner entry and get back into the buys and look for targets near enough at the highs there. But in terms of my direction, NZD CAD does look very bullish, daily 4H as well. We're seeing higher lows form, strong momentum higher as well. So let's see if you can come back to major support, buy from there again, and again take this back to the highs there. So that will be the plan next week for NZD CAD. Okay, so on to pound NZD. I haven't really been a fan of this pair for a while. I have been looking for that major lower high to form in this area. We kind of had this really sluggish move to the downside, so I was reluctant to place any trades. And then we had a really strong move to the upside. Now I'm starting to eye that potential inverse head and shoulder as well, similar to Aussie dollar on pound NZD, with this massive level here being our neckline. If that can snap and we see a strong break above that area, then I'd really like what's going on with pound NZD, because I think there's a very high chance we'll see a move back to the swing high here at 2.15, and again there's a lot of pips to potentially catch along that way. So I'm actually waiting to see if we can see a strong break of 2.09 for 100. There still could be some sells before that, because again this is still a very strong level, the market's still holding on to that area. There's no real bearish structure or bullish structure here at play. We did of course have the lower lows and lower highs over here, but we have since broken through that. Now the market's trying to print in some higher lows and higher highs, but hasn't really established itself as bullish, well at least in my book. So you can be looking for some sells up at the high here. We've seen a lot of rejection, look to the left as well, a lot of rejection at this area. So shorter, medium term sells do make sense, but I wouldn't necessarily expect the market to completely melt to the downside. Of course we could, but there is no trend or kind of structure that I'm following there, rather than just a strong rejection at that area. So shorts still do make sense coming back into 2.09 if you can look for some entries there, similar to what we had this week. Really nice quick rejection coming back into that area, that does make sense. But what I'll be waiting for is to follow some type of trend, and if you can see a strong break of that neckline in the daily chart, I'll be expecting this bullish trend here to be a bit more established. The fact that we're breaking through the neckline means this is now going to be a key level of support. And like I said, we do have a long way to go potentially if we're going to hit that daily swing high. So the opportunity I'm really after is definitely the breaking retest of 2.09. But whether we break through it or not is still up in the air. As a trader, I'm reactive. The market may come, respect it, sell off, or it may come and break through. and I'll make that judge, when price eventually does get there. But this is the move I'm really waiting for. But in the meantime, there could be some sells before that. If we do see a strong breakthrough, then yeah, we're looking at pullbacks, retests, and continuations all the way back to 2.15, as long as we stay above that area. So that will be the plan next week for pound NZD. Okay, so over to CAD Yen. So CAD Yen, I did say I was looking for buys this week for this one. Well, not CAD Yen in particular. I was looking at Euro Yen and Dollar Yen for buys, but the Yen pairs did fall to the downside pretty aggressively. Didn't give me any entries as well, so dodged the bullets there. But with CAD Yen, we had a really heavy sell-off, and I was talking about not really liking the situation, the location where CAD Yen is, as I spoke about these massive swing highs here. When we do take these swing highs, especially in these conditions, we do normally see some aggressive retracement shortly after, and that's kind of what I'm expecting to happen again. We've taken out a major swing high. I do think we can see some more established retracement here. Whether the market's going to print a higher low in and continue higher, or actually reverse this time, that will be up to CAD Yen. But we are seeing a lot of selling pressure here, big moves to the downside. Again, similar to Dollar Yen, we haven't actually broken structure yet, which will still be this low here, but counter trend opportunities still look good. Price was trying to push to the upside, and we've taken out this structure here, and we've actually printed some lower lows and low highs as well. So even though I still view this as counter trend, there is still somewhat of a bearish trend here, and it does still make sense. It's still a high probability in my opinion. I do think we can see a move at least to come back and retest that area. If we break through, then we could potentially go a lot further as well, if this is going to be a bigger reversal potentially. But what I will be eyeing up for is some pullbacks and some more downside next week for the yen pairs. I think CHF JPY looks good, CAD Yen, Dollar Yen, Pound Yen's got some work to do, same for NZD JPY and Aussie Yen, but the pairs I did mention briefly do look good, CAD Yen being one of them. So if we can get some pullbacks, come back to retest some prior structure here at 110, 200, it is a really nice level of resistance. If we kind of just map that level across there, it was resistance here pretty well a couple times, and now support, expecting to be resistance again, potentially looking at a big head and shoulder pattern forming as well. So there's a lot of confidence adding up at those areas. Now just waiting for pullback, entry signals, and then we can join the party. So that will be the plan next week for CAD Yen. Okay, so over to Pound USD. So Pound USD, another dollar pair which is looking very strong. Looks like this one is showing a lot of signs of dollar weakness as well, and definitely pound strength there too. But I've been speaking about Pound USD. I said I haven't really been in love with the price action. The price action has been very, very choppy, and it does look like that is starting to clean up, especially with this breakout to the upside. Now, I do think there's a good chance Pound USD could be looking to continue back to the heights here at 1.31, especially if you do see that kind of weakness continue with the DXY and that move lower. You could see that translate to a move higher for Pound USD, and there will be liquidity above there, and that could be where potentially Pound USD is slowly heading towards. We've had this pretty big move to the upside. The market has had this corrective consolidation phase, and now we could be looking at continuing that to the upside. So impulse, correction / consolidation. Now we're going to see the next bullish phase of the market, next trending phase, which I would imagine is going to take us back to the highs there. So this could be the time now to start looking to get in some trades, especially if you're looking at a trend following strategy, a trend following system. This could be the time where you're looking to get back into the market, because Pound USD has been difficult to trade. I've taken a loss and a break even in that area there. So now that we've got in some trending markets, hopefully I can find some nice places for some retest and jump into some longs and really take advantage of the next trending phase, which again is not necessarily confirmed, but I would expect it to. If this is going to be a breakout, not a fake out, I would expect to see this trend kind of continue a little bit, because again, we've had a really big consolidation. Normally we're going to see big breakouts when the market consolidates for a while. We do tend to see really established trends. So that's kind of what I'll be waiting for Pound USD in the next couple of weeks. In terms of areas of interest, I've mapped out 2 areas depending on how far the market retraces. We're looking at this area here at 1.282, and also this area here at 1.278. Both areas look very good. Strong resistance here, as we can see. Lovely rejection there. This one's been rejected a few times as well, so a really nice level there too. It just depends how far we retrace. before we continue. And again, we might not even retrace. The market could just continue to fly. But as someone who looks to take a lot of their trades on break and retest, this is definitely the areas I'll be waiting for before looking to take any type of entry on pound USD. So this is the trade ideas, trade opportunities I'll be waiting for pound USD. Maybe those arrows kind of get in the way a little bit. But yeah, I need to see a pullback to start things off. And again, we have broken through these levels pretty aggressively and hadn't had any retracements or retest all those areas. So if we do get them, I do expect them to hold. And if you do get even a deeper move, I also will be looking at this area here. I'm not too sure we'll see such a big pullback for pound USD into 1.27, but it would be on my radar if we do see such a heavy pullback. But these two areas definitely 1.282 and 1.278, and yeah, I'll be looking to swing it back to the highs here. Like I said, I'll be trading a stop loss, so I wouldn't imagine the trade to get there, but that's kind of the long-term vision for pound USD. So let's see if we can get some nice buys for next week. Okay, so over to pound CAD. So it looks like pound CAD is looking like it's following pound USD in terms of trending. We have been quite choppy with pound CAD, just like pound USD, but it looks like this one is starting to really pick its direction to the upside. We've had this kind of overall slight uptrend, but it looks like we are taking out some key structure here, which was these lower highs building up 1, 2, 3, 4. Price is starting to break through that, and I can potentially expect to see the next kind of bullish phase in the market. I have mapped out some key highs, some key areas where liquidity will be waiting, where potentially price could look to go and test or take out. So we can expect more upside to those areas. Now I have mapped out this high here. I did say last week this is a nice place to long. We did see a retest of that area, and again, it still is a nice place to long as long as we don't break structure. A retest of this area is still a nice place to look to get into some longs and see if you can ride the next wave to the upside. Now with pound CAD, we could still see some retracement because we are coming back to some key resistance. If I map this out here, and this was our prior high, so there is some reason to expect retracement if the market doesn't break through that area. But nonetheless, we are following that kind of trend, following that momentum, and we do have some targets above us around 1.73. This one's pretty far around 1.75, but we have been building up for a while, so I do think we can see some really nice trending conditions for pound CAD, equally with pound USD as well. So that's the plan for next week for pound CAD. Still looking to follow that trend, higher highs and higher lows. The trend is a lot more established now, so pullbacks look very, very good. Potentially even a retest of this high there, although I would probably wait for a retest of the low there around 1.72. So that will be the plan next week for pound CAD. Okay, so over to pound yen. So pound yen is still hanging on to this area here, which I was touching upon last week. I did say this is a nice level to long from. However, again, the location of pound yen isn't great, similar to the situation we had with CAD yen. You can see when we do take out these major swing highs, we go through a big retracement phase. And again, I'm expecting something similar on pound yen as well. So I don't really want to be positioning myself long here, especially as a swing trader. Looking to try and swing it back to highs, because I'll be exposed myself to the fact that we could roll back over. If you're looking at a quick sculpt, that makes a little bit more sense, but this is not the best area to long. Doesn't mean we can't go up and we can't find a higher low. It's just, it's not the smartest place to position myself long. So that's why I have been reluctant to look to buy pound yen. We have seen a bit of a reaction at this area at 188.99. So we have seen a bit of rejection here, but I wouldn't be too surprised next week if we do see the market kind of break to the downside and potentially give us a nice counter trend opportunities on the retest of these areas, following what I've been talking about with dollar yen and potentially CAD yen there as well. So I would be open to some counter trend opportunities with pound yen. Again, for me, the main high low is still here, so I'm not kind of viewing this as a high probability trend trade like I would do if you were USD or Aussie dollar. But it does look like the market started to break through some structure here. So if we can roll back over, get back underneath this area, use that as resistance, this could be a nice place to sell from. And again, looking to target some lows around the 185-500 mark look very, very good. And it also plays into the situation we've got in the daily chart. If we are going to see that next kind of retracement, we could look to take advantage of that and trade in that direction. So that's kind of where my head is at with pound yen. Not my favorite yen pair. But if we do see the market kind of spill over and give us that next lower high, pullbacks and retracements look good, re-entry at prior support, term resistance, and we could target that low there, 185,500. So that'll be the plan next week for pound yen. Okay, so over to gold. So gold at new all-time highs. We have created them. So price was very, very bullish this week. You can see, I think this here was Monday's candle, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so Friday. So bullish, 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 bullish. So unless you're on the lower time frames, there wasn't much pullbacks this week. If any, you can see slight bearish candles there in the 4H time frame, and that was about it. So difficult to really get into any buys. I did say coming into this week, a retest of this level would be nice. And on Monday, once we had the big breakout, coming to my streams, I was looking for a pullback to retest this area. Didn't happen either. So at all-time highs, there's not much for me to do. As a very technical trader, I'm looking at structure, I'm looking at support resistance, I'm looking left, and there's not really much to look at for for gold. There's not a lot to look at. My areas of value still remain down here. You could look to buy on the wick. Not really something that I do, but this area here is resistance, starting from the wick there, covering to the body. So buying from the wick, a retest of the wick could make a lot of sense, but I can find better opportunities in the market, so I'm not really too interested. This is my area down here, which again is a pretty long way, and I'm not expecting price to retrace that in a week. Of course, never say never, but I'm not expecting that to happen. So I'm really kind of neutral on gold. Yes, bullish, market structure is still pointing up, so bullish, but I'm just not seeing any kind of opportunities for myself that make a lot of sense. So unless we see some major pullbacks, I'm not really looking to do anything. If you're really keen on trading gold, I would pay attention to the wick high around 29.49. The prior all-time high could be a nice area to get back into the market. Essentially just looking for the next higher low, and you want to scale down for your entries there, because anything 4H and higher probably won't really get an opportunity to do so. But for myself, I will be keeping an eye on these areas, and like I said, we're a long way away, so I will be focusing on other pairs going into next week. But yes, I'm definitely bullish on gold. It's just difficult to find entries and all-time highs. There's not a lot for us to work with, so opportunities a little bit less. And again, for me, I trade a wide range of pairs, so I'm not really panicking. I'll be focusing on other pairs for the time being. But yeah, definitely bullish on gold, looking at pullbacks, and I expect the market to continue high. How high, we'll find out. So that's the plan next week for gold. Okay, so Bitcoin, in a similar situation as to gold, we have created all-time highs just about, not as confidently as gold, but we have definitely pinched through them. So at this point in time, again, for Bitcoin, you're looking at pullbacks, keep looking to tackle that momentum. I have pointed out some areas here which we could potentially pull back to and are smart places to long. This is a nice consolidation. Again, very, very far down, around 52K, but I wouldn't be too surprised if Bitcoin does have actually an aggressive sell-off. There could be a lot of profit taken up at these highs here. We could see a lot of people exit the market. We could see retracement from that, and then we see a continuation. So I wouldn't be so kind of just looking at Bitcoin as bullish, bullish, bullish. There's still room to the downside. We're actually struggling a little bit at the high at 68, 69K. We're struggling at the high a little bit. So there's evidence that we might see the market kind of sell off, retrace. So there could be opportunities from that standpoint. And I've also pointed out this area here as well, where that prior big wick rejection is, where we stalled a little bit as well. Could see a retracement to that area. So you're kind of just looking at areas, smart areas where to buy from really, and look to take the market higher. The market is very, very bullish in all time frames, a lot of momentum in the market. I'll be expecting naturally Bitcoin to continue higher. Will we get retracement? Again, only time will tell. But these stand for me really nice areas to buy from, 61,300, and also definitely this area here, this consolidation around 52K looks good, and then I'll be expecting the market to continue from that. So yeah, still bullish on Bitcoin, maybe some retracements on the cards, we'll wait and see, but that's what makes sense to me in terms of looking to follow that momentum, follow that trend, and continue that bullish wave with Bitcoin. And last but not least, we've got our bonus pair, which for this week is CHF JPY, another yen pair. And again, another yen pair I'm looking to take to the downside for some more counter trend opportunities. Now you can see for CHF JPY, this market is definitely bullish. we're definitely printing higher highs and higher lows here. However, I'm looking at taking another move to the downside. Again, what we've touched upon with pound yen and CAD yen as well, the way the market moves, we take out highs, retrace, take out highs, retrace, take out highs, retrace, take out highs, retrace, take out highs, and again, expecting that pattern to continue, again, expecting another retrace. Now, I do expect eventually a big, not necessarily reversal, but a big kind of counter move to happen that will probably take out structure as well, because with CHF JPY, let's not forget, we are at all-time highs. If we expand to the monthly chart, this is our prior all-time high. I do think eventually we'll see a pullback. You know, even if it's something like this is still a pretty big move, which eventually the market may still continue higher. But I do expect that retracement to come pretty soon. And the fact that we've had a very kind of established consolidation for a while, and now that has broken very aggressively to the downside, this for me is now inviting some nice bearish opportunities for a retest and a continuation, again taking advantage of this counter trend opportunity. How far will we go? Will we see that big retracement I just touched upon happen? Potentially. Will we just print another higher low like we've been doing? Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Will we print another one? You know, that's still a very much a possibility as well. But again, I'll be looking to see how far I can take the trade. I'll probably be looking to target these lows here outright. I will be trading stop loss, so if the market does turn against me, I'll be taken out at some point. But if I'm lucky and the trend and the momentum really does pick up, we could see a move all the way back down to the low here around 163, which would be a very big move in itself. So counter trend opportunities do look good to me here for CHF JPY. It's actually probably my favorite out of the yen pairs. Dollar yen looks okay, CAD yen looks okay as well, but I really like the consolidation and the sharp breakout here. So this one will definitely make the watch list. Like I said, I will post my watch list in the Telegram on Sunday heading into next week, and CHF JPY will definitely be in there, and this will be the opportunity I'm looking to take advantage of. So very simple, looking for the retest of the range and seeing how far we can take the trade. And yeah guys, that does bring us to the end of the weekly analysis. If you have found it useful, have enjoyed it, please let me know with a like on the video. Drop a comment down below your favorite pair for next week as well. I'm interested to find out. Subscribe to the channel already if you haven't done already. If you haven't done, make sure you do it, and hit the bell as well so you don't miss any streams or uploads in the future. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into the video. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll catch you all in the next one.